Welcome to the Bold Life School, the show that empowers you to elevate your life and to step into your full potential. I'm your host, Jamesyn, and this is where ambition meets authenticity, where you'll find the tools and inspiration to grow, evolve, and thrive. Each week, we dive into powerful topics that challenge the status quo, whether it's to break through limiting beliefs, navigate life's transitions, or embrace the bold moves that push you beyond your comfort zone. Now let's get into today's episode. So here's something I've watched happen more times than I can count. You tell me you're thinking about leaving your job, and when I ask how long you've been thinking about it, you say a few weeks, maybe a month. Then we walk back through the actual timeline, and it turns out you've been leaving for a year. You just didn't have the language for it yet. Except that's not quite right either. You had the language. You'd been saying it out loud for months, to your partner, to your friends, to yourself in the car. You just weren't listening to yourself say it, or maybe you didn't realize that it was that serious. That's what I want to talk about with you today. Not the decision to quit, the stretch of time before the decision, when misalignment is already running your vocabulary and you haven't consciously admitted it yet. Because misalignment doesn't show up as a decision. It shows up as a change in how you talk. And if you know what to listen for, you can catch it long before it costs you a year. Before we go further, I need to tell you something. I have said every sentence I'm about to describe to you. There was a role where I looked, on paper, like a woman who had it made. The title was good. The work was impressive. And I spent months telling myself I was just tired. Just a rough stretch. Just needed to get through the quarter. And the whole time I was saying they instead of we. I was saying I thought this would be different. I'd stopped raising my hand for anything new. And I told myself that was maturity. It wasn't maturity. It was me quietly leaving, months before I admitted it out loud. So when I tell you your words are giving you away, I'm not observing that from a distance. I know because mine gave me away first. Let me start with the distinction that changes everything for you. Burnout says, I can't do this anymore. Misalignment says, I don't want to do this anymore. Read those again, because the gap between them is the whole episode. I can't is about capacity. You're depleted, you've been carrying too much for too long, and the tank is empty. That's career signal number 1, burnout. And here's the good news about burnout. It responds to rest. It responds to boundaries. Fix the capacity, and a lot of the time, the job is still right. I don't want to is about direction. And no amount of rest fixes direction. That's career signal number 4, misalignment. The role doesn't fit. The culture doesn't fit. The work you're being asked to do doesn't line up with who you've become. You could take a month off and come back to the exact same problem. Because the problem was never your energy. It was where you were pointed. This is why you can take a break, feel better for 2 weeks, and then feel the dread come right back the first Sunday night. You treated a direction problem like a capacity problem. You rested when you needed to redirect. So before anything else, listen for which verb you're using, can't or won't, because they are 2 different problems, and they require 2 different solutions. Okay, let's get into what misalignment actually sounds like coming out of your own mouth. One of the first things to go is ownership. There was a version of you who walked into the meeting with an idea. What if we tried this? Here's something we could test. You had opinions about how things should go because you cared how they went. And then one day you catch yourself saying, whatever you think, you decide, I'm good with any of it. That's not you becoming easygoing. That's you withdrawing. Because caring how something turns out requires you to still be invested in the outcome. And the moment you stop offering the idea, you've quietly told yourself the outcome isn't yours anymore. You're not building the thing. You're just present for it. I want to be careful here because sometimes whatever you think is a good boundary. Sometimes it's you finally letting go of control you never needed. But you know the difference. One version feels like relief. The other feels like nothing at all. This one is small and it is loud. Listen to your pronouns. When you feel like part of something, you say we. We launched it. We're figuring this out. We had a rough quarter. The company is a thing you're inside of. And then your language shifts. They decided. The company wants. Leadership is making everyone do this now. Suddenly, the organization is a thing that happens to you from the outside. You didn't choose that shift. It happened underneath your awareness. But it is one of the most reliable tells there is, because your pronouns are honest even when you're not ready to be. We means you're still in it. They means some part of you has already stepped out and is standing in the parking lot. Pay attention to the day your we becomes they. That day matters. Here's a quieter one. Someone in leadership starts talking about the 3-year vision, the big strategy, where the whole team is headed. And instead of feeling anything about it, instead of picturing your part in it, you're wondering what you're going to make for dinner. Or you don't care because you suspect you won't be here to experience it in 3 years. You've stopped volunteering for the stretch assignment. You've stopped asking what's next. When you imagine next year, this job isn't in the picture and you didn't even decide to remove it. It just quietly stopped appearing. That's not laziness. That's your mind already living somewhere else. You can't get excited about a future you don't plan to be in. And when the future they're describing and the future you're imagining have stopped overlapping, that gap has a name. We'll get to it. I want to name a specific version of misalignment because I think it's the one a lot of ambitious women are living right now and misreading as their own failure. And I think it might be yours. Here's the setup. Leadership tells you that if you want to grow, if you want the next level, you have to go above and beyond your role. Build relationships across the org. Get visible. Take the cross-functional thing. Demonstrate readiness. But here's what nobody says out loud. That above and beyond work gets stacked on top of your actual job. Not instead of it, on top of it. So now you're doing your role and auditioning for the next one at the same time. And there are only so many hours in your week. Something gives. And what usually gives is your ability to actually grow inside your own scope. This is often where career signal number 2, boundary overload, quietly turns into signal number 4, misalignment. You were the yes person. You jumped in, took the extra thing, covered the gap. And then one day you feel a wall go up every time someone asks for one more thing, and you tell yourself it's just a boundary. Sometimes it's more than a boundary. Sometimes it's your body telling you the deal has gotten unfair. Because here's the part that actually breeds the misalignment. The skills you build inside your own role don't get counted. The mastery you develop in your real job scope is invisible. Only the extra, the visible, the above and beyond gets rewarded. So you're being taxed to demonstrate readiness, while the place you'd actually grow is starved of your attention. And I need you to hear this next part, because it's where women get it wrong, where you might be getting it wrong right now. When you're in that setup, you usually don't blame the setup. You blame yourself. I can't keep up. I'm not doing enough. No, you're doing 2 jobs and getting fully credited for neither. That's not a you problem. That's a structure problem. And it will register as misalignment in your body long before you can put words to what actually happened. At some point, the recognition complaint shows up. No one notices what I do. I keep getting overlooked. I'm not even using my actual strengths here. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself about this one because it cuts 2 ways. Sometimes that complaint is real and it's about the environment and you should take it seriously. But sometimes, and you have to be willing to look at this, the reason you feel invisible is that you checked out first and the recognition followed you out the door. You can't fully feel seen for work you've already emotionally left. Here's the misalignment tell though. It's not that you want more recognition here. It's that you've stopped wanting it to come from here at all. The praise lands and it doesn't do anything. The award, the shout out, the great job on that, it used to matter and now it's just noise. Because some part of you has decided this isn't where you want to be significant anymore. That's the difference. Burnout wants to be seen and is too tired to chase it. Misalignment has quietly stopped caring whether it's seen in this particular room. If I had to pick the single sentence I hear most from women right before they change careers, it's this one. I thought this role would be different. That's the sound of your expectation and your reality finally colliding out loud. You took the job for a reason. The title, the mission, the money, the growth, the person you thought you'd get to become in it. And somewhere along the way, the actual daily experience stopped matching the reason you came. And once that gap gets wide enough, here's the hard part. Nothing inside the job can close it. Not a raise, not a promotion, not a shiny new project. Because the problem isn't that you need a better version of this. The problem is that this stopped being the thing you thought you were signing up for. When you catch yourself saying, I thought this would be different, don't rush past it. That's not a complaint. That's a diagnosis. I teach the model on this show constantly, so let me connect it here for you, because this is exactly where it lives. Your job is a circumstance. Your title, your team, your boss, the 3-year plan, those are neutral facts. They just are. What's not neutral is the sentence you've started telling yourself about them. They decided. This isn't me. I thought this would be different. Those aren't facts about your job. Those are thoughts. And in the model, thoughts are where everything begins. The thought creates the feeling. The feeling drives what you do, and what you do produces your results. So when I tell you to listen to your language, I'm not asking you to journal your feelings. I'm telling you that your words are the most direct evidence you have of what you actually think. And what you think is already shaping what you're going to do, whether you're paying attention or not. Your vocabulary isn't venting, it's data. Everything I've described to you today is stage 1 of the Career Reinvention Framework. Recognize the gap. And I want to be precise about what the gap actually is, because people get this wrong. The gap isn't between you and a better job. It's not that there's some perfect role out there and you just haven't found it. The gap is between who you've become and where you're currently standing. You changed, you grew, you sharpened. You outgrew the version of you who took this job, and the role didn't change with you. That's misalignment. That's the whole thing. You've changed. Your career hasn't evolved with you. And the gap between those two things is what you've been narrating out loud for months. Here's what I wish someone had said to me sooner. The cost of misalignment isn't just the time. Although, let's be honest about the time. If you've been leaving for a year, that's a year. That's real, and you don't get it back. But the more expensive thing is what sitting in it does to you. You start to believe the flat feeling is just how work is now. You lower your own standard for what a Tuesday is supposed to feel like. You stop having ideas, and then you start to believe you're just not an idea person anymore. That's the part that should get your attention. Not that the job stopped fitting, but that staying in a job that doesn't fit slowly convinces you that this dimmed down version is who you are. It isn't. It's who you become when you stay too long in something that stopped being yours. Change is hard. I know. You've worked too hard to settle. And that exact sentence is what keeps you in a role you've already left in every way but the paperwork. I've invested too much to walk away now. Don't let that reasoning talk you out of the thing your own language has been telling you for months. So let me name what's really going on with you. You've been having this entire conversation already. In the car, in the shower, at 11 at night, when you can't sleep, you've been running the same loop. Is it me? Is it the job? Am I being dramatic? Shouldn't I just be grateful? For weeks, maybe months. And it hasn't produced an answer because you can't diagnose yourself from inside the same tired, second-guessing head that created the confusion. Here's what I want you to hear, especially if you're a woman who prides herself on figuring things out on her own. Getting outside input on a decision this big is not hand-holding. It's what strategic people do. Some decisions are too important to make by yourself on a loop in your own head. You don't need more certainty before you reach out. You reach out to get the certainty. Movement creates clarity, not the other way around. Most people believe leaving starts with a decision. It doesn't. It starts with a change in language that runs underneath your life for months while you tell yourself everything's fine. The we that became they, the ideas you stopped offering, the future you stopped imagining yourself in, the sentence, I thought this would be different, that you've said more times than you'd like to admit. None of that is complaining. All of it is information. And you don't have to stay in a career you've already outgrown just because you haven't figured out what comes next. There's a process for this. You can stop second-guessing yourself and start making intentional decisions about where you're actually pointed. So here's your one next step. Take the free 2-minute Career Burnout Signals quiz. It's the fastest way to stop guessing and name the real problem. The link is in the show notes. And if you already know, if you've been having this conversation with yourself for months and you're ready to have it with someone who can help you sort it out, that's what Red Chair sessions are for. No Zoom, no scheduling. You send me the situation, you get direct input. Your words have been telling you the truth for a while now. The only question left is whether you're going to listen. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed today's episode, head over to theboldlife.coach for more resources, join our community, and start living your boldest life today.